you already have one, you can convert it. If not, ow, you son of a... Hey guys, it's HarleyWood, welcome back. All right, you're gonna notice two things different about today's video. One, we've got a cameo appearance here from David at Dyer Armory.
Let's do this.
We'll get into their channel here in a minute. Today we're gonna focus on something you've probably already seen. It released about a week, maybe a week and a half ago. It is the revamped Mk9 from CMMG. Now, those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, I have a bunch of CMMG platforms. In fact, they're on the ground over here by the cameraman. He's having to dance around them. So I've actually known Bobby behind the camera here for a long time, actually just met David, and we're gonna do a little co-op on this video, all right? But the other thing I want to encourage you guys is to go watch their channel and subscribe, because one thing you're going to notice is Bobby's actually going to edit and publish this video for me, and it's going to be way better than the stuff that I do. So this is what he does for a living. I think the format and the cuts and everything's going to be a lot tighter. So go ahead, introduce yourself and tell them about your channel a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm David. I'm with Dyer Armory. I teamed up with HarleyWood. We met through Bobby, just like you just said. So I got word that he had the Mk9 and was going to be doing some videos on it. I've been super curious about this. I'm a big AR9 platform fan, so I'm really excited to see what happens.
We've got one, two, three. We've got three AR9s just on the ground right here. And I think there's actually another one back in the safe. So, all right, Dyer Armory. I asked you this when I first met you. How'd you come up with the name?
So Dyer, meaning desperation. And in watching, being a huge fan of gun tubers, and there's this really aggressive stance that everybody has, like, man, I wish somebody would break into my house. I wish, you know, the zombie apocalypse would happen, and I kind of had a problem with that, and I wanted it to be as a last resort of a dire situation where you train, you prepare, but you only use those skills whenever the situation is absolutely dire.
When it's critical. Got it. All right, guys, so again, there's a link in the description below. Go check out their channel, but let's get into this review. So if you haven't seen one of the other videos of the re-release of the Mk9, let's talk about why we're here. Why is this in the news again, so to speak? This was one of the first 9mm platforms that CMMG put out. And at the time, it was a straight blowback, okay? Many of you probably know, especially if you're a CMMG fan for any period of time, they switched to a radial delayed blowback not too long ago, a couple years ago. I have an Mk10 right here. There's an Mk17 and an Mk45. Excuse me, what I call the Guard 45 down there. And these are all radial delayed blowback. So the beauty of the radial delayed blowback is that there is a split second where the lugs have to disengage before the bolt moves backwards, all right? It doesn't just take the inertia of the chamber combustion and push the bolt and cycle, okay? So that little bit of delay gives you more powder burn, gives you a little bit bigger velocity, and a little bit less felt recoil. So that's kind of why this is back in the news again. All right, so the one I'm holding now is the Mk17, all right? This is another 9mm variant of theirs. Uses P320 mags, which is a platform that I switched to about a year ago. I was a Glock guy before that, and the only PCC version of the 9mm platform from CMMG that I never invested in was the one that took the Glock magazines for 9mm. I do have the 45. This one, the beauty of this is it uses Colt magazines, all right? 32 rounds, and slap that back in there. Here's one thing that I really like about that. As much as I love CMMG, I'm not a huge fan, although it has grown on me, of this angle. I feel like this looks more like an SMG type platform, right? Where that thing comes straight down. It just looks ridiculously sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've pulled these bolts out of the AR9s. We have a more standard AR9 direct blowback BCG from Wolfpack Armory. The key difference here is with the direct blowback, once the round goes off, all that inertia is being blowing the bolt straight back into the buffer system. This usually requires a heavier buffer system, sometimes a weighted BCG, and a lot of gas expulsion coming out of your ejection port. With what CMMG has done is added this radial delay system, and this actually allows just enough time for the chamber pressure to equalize before expelling the round.
And you mentioned the heavier buffer system. So this one actually uses a carbine buffer. All right. So I have a carbine buffer in a lot of my my PCCs, and so it's actually really nice because I don't have a lot of different buffers between all of them, right? Now, one of the things on this is if you are shooting particularly hot rounds or you do need to compensate in some way, they also make these tuning kits that allow you to pin different weights right here into the back of the BCG. So there's a roll pin and you can pin these various weights in there. I'll be honest with you, even on my Mk10, which is the one I thought I was gonna have to do that on, I've never had to do it. Now I may be suffering a little bit more recoil than otherwise, but I mean it's a 10 millimeter, it's not a grenade launcher.
Exactly, exactly. And how does this affect suppression?
So I think suppression wise, you're probably getting more gas out into the suppressor as opposed to out the ejection port, which in a suppressed platform often makes more noise for the shooter than otherwise, right? So I think this is actually better suppressed because you have more of it going into the can on the end of the gun as opposed to popping right by your face. All right, now with the uppers off of these, if you have an original Mk9, I think I said MKG earlier, you can actually buy a conversion kit from CMMGs to convert yours to use the radial delayed blowback system, all right? Anybody with a little bit of technical savvy can probably convert it in 10 to 30 minutes. Let's get a full blowback system in here and show you some of the differences. All right, here's the Mk9 in the middle, the Mk17 over here, and which one do you have there, David?
This is the Wolfpack WP9.
The Wolfpack WP9. So you'll see that on the Mk9, there's some significant feed ramps there just to compensate for the angle of that magazine. Here is one that takes the P320, so a little bit less going on inside there. A big old ejector on that one, otherwise fairly similar because it takes Glock magazines like this one. All right, and now we're actually gonna shoot this thing. Now, if you've seen other Mk9 videos, every single one of them I've seen, and I get it. People are talking about the ammo shortage. I'm only gonna put 100 rounds through this. I put 100 rounds, it operated fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do 250, maybe more. Yes, there is an ammo shortage, but we're gonna go ahead and run it through its paces and see how it does.
Just gonna send it.
Yeah, let's just send this bitch.
Yeah, let's get it. All right, so big thanks to Dyer Armory for coming out here. This video, if Bobby's worth his, is probably way better than my editing skills, so hopefully you guys will go follow Dyer Armory. Thanks for coming out, dude. Appreciate it, man. For sure, man.
And you guys know the drill. We can't link to a manufacturer like CMMG, so do your due diligence and find them on your own. But the Mk9, if you already have one, you can convert it. If not, ow, you son of a, it's hot. This is hot. You want one of these. Jesus. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. Subscribe to Dyer Armory. Lots more videos to come, and I'll see you in the next one.
You burned yourself?
Yeah, I literally just went like that, and like right on the side of my finger touched it.
Oh, man.